Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to your favorite show on the interwebs, Raw Law Unfiltered, with your favorite host, the DUI Guy Plus. Hashtag buckle up. Hashtag it is the law. And the law is coming for you, folks. The law is coming for you, government. The law is coming for you, the chief of police in Texas, America, los Estados Unidos de America. Listen to this, folks. This is mind blowing. Somebody sent me a clip of a gentleman, an attorney, speaking in a public place, at a public hearing, in a public meeting, and I was absolutely shocked. Shocked, I tells you, and I don't say that lightly. It takes a little bit to get me shocked. This was shocking. Not only is this individual, as you will meet him in just a moment, he's backstage right now, cjgrisham. Not only is he an attorney, he's also a combat veteran. Not only is he an attorney and a combat veteran, he also speaks for people's rights. He likes to protect the First and Second Amendment. And never did he think that his exercise of his own First Amendment rights to free speech is not just going to be stymied, which is a fancy word for, slowed down, taken away, whatever you want to call it. But now he's facing criminal charges as a result of him filing a lawsuit against the government and speaking out about it in a public hearing, which, again, it's not a very common thing. Lawyers, typically, we don't go around after we file a lawsuit to speak, publicly at a town meeting. But in a nutshell, and he'll tell you more about it, I just want to give you guys a quick preview. He was absolutely positively in the right. He used a lot of cursey words. And last I checked, it is not 1937 when curse words were not allowed. If you all don't know, Lenny Bruce was a pioneer. Lenny Bruce was a pioneer who paved the road to George Carlin and the 7 words you can never say on television, to Eddie Murphy, and excuse me, still getting over this stupid cold. Richard Pryor, Cat Williams, which actually my girlfriend and I are going to see a couple of weekends from now. Anyway, the point is, curse words are permitted. And now CJ is being punished. So I'm going to allow him to tell the story. CJ, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing pretty good. Larry, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Of course. So fill us in, CJ. Start at the beginning. Begin at the beginning. I guess what led to the lawsuit, what it's about, and how did you end up in that town meeting leading up to your arrest and criminal charges to where you're facing 1 year in jail?
So it started with a client that I have whose Fourth Amendment rights were violated. He's been very vocal against the chief of police and several members of the city council there in Aransas Pass. And as he's tried to criticize them, they've ratcheted up. Instead of just listening to a concerned citizen who's got issues with the way that things are run in the city decided they were going to essentially retaliate against them. And they ended up finding these bogus outdoor so-called code violations, and they used that to secure a bogus warrant. And then they went inside and did this unconstitutional inspection of his business. And there are rules about when they're supposed to do these inspections and all of that. They found all of these code violations. Anyway, he actually did I saw a video of his and was outraged at how this guy was being treated, and helped him a little bit with his pro se, because it was just in a municipal court, so he didn't need an attorney, and I didn't want him to have to pay for an attorney. Sure. So I just kind of helped him out a little bit with getting those charges dismissed. So he got them suppressed because there was a warrantless search. Well, then instead of just recognizing that they've been bested, they appealed to the county court, and the city did. So that's when he hired me.
The decision, the judgment.
Yeah, they appealed the suppression of the evidence.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So that's when I got involved. I filed my motion to dismiss and suppress for the same reason and others, especially the fact that the warrant was defective on its face, and as well as the fact that even if it wasn't defective, the search was conducted before the warrant was issued, and therefore nothing that was in there could be used against him. And so we won again. And I actually made another argument in that case where the city just unlawfully adopted a fire code as well. That was just another sort of side thing that I was going after them on. But either way, we won. And then, so of course, he had been going back to city council and using his 3 minutes of public comment to talk about the fact that the chief of police is a dirtbag, demanding that the city manager hold him accountable for violating citizens' rights, and also that one of the city council women had lied on a death certificate or something like that. I don't know the exact details of that, but he's doing what citizens are supposed to do: hold government accountable. And what they were doing, at one point, he didn't start off being profane or using foul language. He was just upset. He was upset because they keep retaliating against him. And they're retaliating against the church locally that's trying to help the homeless and, trying to ticket them for stupid things. And so he's just a very vocal person. And so when he would go there, at one point, he would say, "Oh, you're a piece of excrement." And
by the way, you're allowed to swear on this channel. You don't have to.
Oh, okay, yeah, piece of shit. There you go. So he called the chief a piece of shit, called the city manager, so he's done this, this, and this. He went on this vacation. Well, I'm sorry, he went on this business trip where he charged the taxpayers over $1,200 for a personally fitted suit, which was not authorized. And he started complaining about that. And he's like, "All right, look, here's the law. When you misuse public funds, it's a crime. What are you going to do, city manager? And then what are you going to do to the other officers saying your chief just violated the law? I just showed it to you. What are you going to do?" And when they would do nothing, they say, "That's because you're a piece of shit." And then the mayor would slam his gavel. "I'm not going to tolerate this, and you're going to watch your mouth," and all that kind of stuff. So he hired me to go down to the city council, and the purpose was for me to educate the city council on the First Amendment, because apparently they hadn't heard about it. It is, this is deep down, small town, southern Texas. It's possible that the 1791 ratified Bill of Rights hadn't made it down there yet. So I just wanted to help them know that, these things had happened. And the First Amendment does exist. And by the way, they have to abide by it. So I sat there and I listened to my client. And once again, he was criticizing about the different things that they were doing that were local issues, that were matters of public concern, which is protected. These 3 minutes are 3-minute citizen comments. They're not required to be on any agenda item. They can be about anything that the citizen wants. It is their 3 minutes of time. And once again, he called one of them, I think it was the chief, he called a piece of shit, and the city manager he called a scumbag, or vice versa, one of the others. And so once again,
they're interchangeable, so it fits.
They're interchangeable, yeah. And so once again, the city manager whines to the mayor, "Mayor, he's making fun of me." And the mayor slams his gavel down and essentially starts cutting him off. And he's like, "I'm not going to put up with this." Well, you don't have a choice. You work for me, boy. And so they got in this big argument during his 3 minutes. And then when they were done, he's like, "All right, now reset my damn clock because you just took all my time," or whatever. So he starts talking again. And once again, he says a word. And this time the police come and they threaten to arrest him. And he leaves voluntarily. Again, and he made sure, he's like, "Am I being threatened with arrest? Because I'm not leaving unless I'm being threatened with arrest." And sure enough, the chief said, "Yes, I will arrest you for disorderly conduct." So he's okay. And he leaves. So then I got up. I had been there taking notes. I'd already prepared. I brought with me a document of all the case law regarding free speech that applied to this particular issue, to the city council, to profanity. And I got up there and I started out with what I just witnessed was a violation of my client's rights. And I started to read them the case law. all kinds of case law that contained all the words that he had been using over the previous few months. And, for example, fuck. I said that probably 13 times in 3 minutes while quoting case law, as well as several other words. I don't know if I say too many, you might get your channel like demonetized, or at least this video. So I won't say too many of them. But, there's the C word, the B word, the F word, the MF word. And so I went through all these cases and I read through them, and then I summarized at the end. And I said, so, Mr. Mayor, if I want to say F, and I want to say F again, and I want to say F again, I can say it. And there's nothing you can effing do about it. And I said, and if I want to say, and I listed all the words I just read from all the case law. And one of the city councilwoman, she's like, oh, Lord have mercy. She, does this guffaw about, oh, Lord have mercy. And then she walks off all ceremoniously as if, she'd just been punched in the face by a slab of bacon. Mm-hmm. And then they threatened to kick me out.
Okay,
and
so
I told them,
pause right there. Can we watch the video? Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's I'm playing it from your channel. This is
so this is where.
Go ahead.
This is actually where I'm serving them their lawsuit. This isn't the right one.
No, oh, this isn't the right one.
No, go to the one teaching Aranza's past the MFing Constitution. Oh no, there it is. You didn't just say that. That one right there.
This one.
Yeah. That's the first one. And the second one's kind of humorous.
Got it. Okay, so 3 minutes, 14 seconds. Let's watch. This is you.
Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is CJ Grisham. I'm a civil rights attorney here in Texas. And what I just witnessed was a violation of Mr. Followell's rights. Let me read something to you. Arresting someone in retaliation for the exercise of free speech rights is sufficient to chill speech as an understatement. This is Beck v. City of Upland.
There's the chief getting ready to attack me from
So the chief is positioning himself behind you because why?
Because he's a coward and he knows that my short 175 pounds can take on his 460 from the front. So he's got to come up from behind.
That's good.
A profane or offensive language will not, in and of itself, constitute disorderly conduct. That's Payne v. Pauley. Swear words do not provide probable cause for an arrest for disorderly conduct because the...
And I'm sorry, when you say those words, I can't help but, like, my brain is exploding. I'm just going to play it one more time.
Swear words do not provide probable cause for an arrest for disorderly conduct because...
Swear words do not provide probable cause to arrest for disorderly conduct. Every time I hear that phrase in your video, I can only think, again, it's like 1942, 1947, Lenny Bruce at a club saying cursey words. Police are over there with obscenity laws in place. I thought this era was over 80 years ago. What happened? What is going on here?
That's the problem. Like I said, I believe the word of the Constitution just hasn't gotten that far south into Texas yet. And I had to bring it to them.
I know you're making like it's like a veiled joke, but at the same time, it's literally like, that's what it's starting to seem like.
The words as a matter of law are not fighting words. Johnson v. Campbell. I could go on, Mr. Mayor. Your rules of decorum are unconstitutional, and they're setting the city up, you individually, for liability. Now, you will be seeing a letter from me, a demand letter for violating my client's rights just now, because he has the right to say fuck, shit, damn, bitch, cunt, whatever. He has the right to say all of those words because it is a First Amendment right.
Who just said Lord have mercy?
So as you're looking at the video, it's that first female to the right. Yeah, right there. That's Carrie Scruggs.
I want to hear that again.
When I say the C word, she's like, oh, Lord have mercy.
He has the right to say fuck, shit, damn, bitch, cunt, whatever. He has the right to say all of those words because it is a First Amendment right. You can't do anything about it. Let me tell you something. The law has long established that arresting an individual for publicly displaying vulgarities violates the First Amendment. That's the Cohen case, 1969. Indeed, the Supreme Court recently held that a public school violated the free speech rights of a cheerleader by suspending her when she said things like, fuck school, fuck softball, fuck cheer, fuck everything. Then there was another, that's Mahoney Area School District, VBL. There's also Eachus v. Steelman, saying that a police officer was not entitled to qualified immunity for arresting a plaintiff who said, fuck you. Did you hear that?
I like how you turn around and say, like, it's almost like you're saying fuck you to the chief who's standing behind you.
That's exactly. I was making sure he heard me, and that I was saying this case is for you, chief. Is directly on
so
point.
Good. Oh my God, this is so good.
No qualified immunity. So I can say fuck throughout my entire 3 minutes. I can say fuck again, and I can say fuck again, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's called expressive speech. We are allowed to express ourselves. We are allowed to fucking talk about what we think about you. If I think you, Mr. Mayor, are a tyrant, I can say that. If I think the city manager is a piece of shit, I can say that. It's protected. This is the case law. I don't give a shit what you think. The law is like, you escort me out, I'll sue you as well, Mr. Mayor. Do whatever you want. This is the law right here. And if these chiefs come out here and pull me out of this meeting, you had better read this, chief, because he's telling you to break the law. Yeah. You can take him out. Now, where'd that coward Kerry Scruggs go? You go out. Where'd the coward Kerry Scruggs go? Take him out. Is my 3 minutes up?
Where did that coward go? Bring her back and let her listen. This is
she needs to hear this.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
What am I going for? No. He rules you to violate the law. Oh, you're going to arrest me? Oh, you're going to arrest me? Okay, so under the threat of arrest, you just violated.
Okay. Okay, so this is the end of the video. There's only like half a second left. Were you placed in handcuffs after that?
No. They took me outside. And then I had a very I handed those papers out to the officers that had all the case law on it. And it was all kinds of different cases in different situations, all relating to speech. Mm-hmm. And I told them straight up, I said, listen, what you're doing right now, forcing me out of here and threatening me with disorderly conduct, is unlawful. And I said, so you can't bring me out of here because you've just violated my First Amendment rights. So my question is, now that I read everything to them, all the case law, they had a copy of it. And I said, if I go back in there by a raise of hands, who here is going to arrest me if I walk back in there? And this was after letting them know that they would have no qualified immunity. No one raised their hand. So me and Jason, my client, I said, okay, Jason, let's go back in and sit down. Our 3 minutes is up. So we weren't going to speak or say anything. We were just going to go back and sit down and watch the rest of it. So we go back in, we sit down, and there's no further issues. We walk in, and the chief and the city manager looks at the mayor, and the mayor looks at the city manager like, what the heck? What are these guys doing back in here? But they couldn't do anything about it.
Right. It's a free country.
Hello? So, and really quick, I know, there's somebody in the comments saying that this is a restricted forum. Wrong. That is absolutely false. When a city council opens up, when a city council opens up a forum like a city council meeting to allow citizens to speak, that's called a designated forum. Mm-hmm. It's a designated forum. So it's not a traditional forum like a street or a sidewalk or a park. But it's the city has designated that particular moment, that particular section of the agenda as a public forum. It's been designated. There's a difference between restricted, like a courtroom, and designated, like a city council meeting. So before, your Facebook lawyers out there start quoting the law to me, they should probably educate themselves first about what the differences are between traditional, non-traditional, and restricted. Anyway. So that was January 16th, and I decided, because of the way that they had acted that day, because I had sent them an email prior to that, with a demand that they cease and desist what they're doing, and obviously they didn't. So I sent them another email and I said that I retracted my 30 days to do the right thing. We're now going to sue them, and not to protect all their ESI, their evidence, their videos, their audios, their emails, all that stuff, because they're about to get sued. So on March 1st, we filed our lawsuit in the Southern District of Texas. And on March 4th, I went back down there. It just so happened that...
Pause. So
yeah.
On the 1st, you file your lawsuit, and what are you alleging? What are your causes of action, which is a lawyer term? And for the public who may not know what this means, it's basically like your I am suing you for this. What is the this?
So this is several things. First, it's retaliation. Because he had my client, and I only sued on my client's behalf. I didn't sue on my behalf because I wanted to focus on my client, even though I had a cause of action as well. We sued, obviously, for retaliation because of the fact that when he started complaining, they started doing all these inspections on his business. I mean, he had 7 inspections in a year within just a few months.
What kind of business does he run?
It's just a gym.
Hookers and cocaine? Like that's 7 inspections.
It's just a gym. And not only that, but they're citing him for the same types of insulation, actually the exact same type of insulation that the fire chief who's doing the inspection and the mayor's brother who's doing the inspection, by the way, has in his business. Oh. The exact same company, the exact same thing, but the chief says, well, I'm exempt from that. So, and this is his private business. The chief ran a bar or something like that, or a restaurant or whatever, but so that's the first one, was retaliation by all of these inspections, by doing these bogus charges against him, by kicking him out of the meetings. Then, of course, we had our First Amendment violations, which was what you saw throughout the meetings, all the different meetings that he had been kicked out of for speaking when, he wasn't allowed to, apparently. And then the other one was Carrie Scruggs, oh, Lord have mercy. She had actually had an attorney send him a cease and desist letter because he was making these allegations about her falsifying a government document that was proven, and demanding that the city do something about it. But she had an attorney get involved and try to get him to shut up. So obviously you've got your prior restraint there. And then they also had trespassed him from every government building and property in the city. They'd issued him a criminal trespass warning. I got that removed as well. So those are all the retaliation.
Wait, how do you trespass somebody? Like, you're not allowed to enter any government facility? What is that? How do you, what?
Yeah, that's what they did. He had to attend the city council meetings via Zoom until I was able. Yeah, then I sent him a demand letter and demanded that they immediately lift their trespass order or we're going to file charges. And they did that.
Wow.
So then, of course, the First Amendment violation of prior restraint, and then the First Amendment violations of restricting speech during city council meetings based on the content of that speech. And so, yeah, those are all the allegations that we're making in the lawsuit. And of course, you've got abuse of authority under color of law and official oppression.
Okay, so like all the goodies, we got it.
Yeah.
That's that you're going after the government because they're going after your client. Normal stuff. I mean, honestly, it seems completely justified in my humble opinion. And I'm just a lawyer from Kentucky, but please continue. What happens next?
So on March 4th, I had a hearing down at Aransas Pass for another
This
client.
year or last year?
This year.
This year. Okay.
This year. So on March 4th, it just so happened I was already going to be in town for another hearing. And that evening there was a city council meeting. I was like, well, hey, why don't we just have them serve their lawsuit during the city council meeting? And that's that other video that you were about to play. Mm-hmm. The one with me in the purple jacket, if you wanted to kind of play that. That one's more,
yeah, let's play that.
That one's more entertaining.
So this, chronologically, this is the next thing that happens.
This is March 4th of this year. And this this
22 days ago, 3 weeks ago.
Right. And this is me. I'm dressed up, actually looking like an attorney this time. I'm recognizing that I'm before royalty and that I need to dress appropriately. And this is just me apologizing for my behavior.
Okay. All right. Let's see what happens.
We can't answer it right now, but we will look into this also.
And if I recall, there's a place at the San Patricio County Navigation District at the marina to dispose of oil and stuff.
She's
Yeah,
talking about
there
something
is.
completely off.
It's up
Sure,
there by
obviously.
the
Yeah,
Harbor
sorry.
Master building.
They're finishing up a thought somewhere on your time, but no, this one's 4 minutes. So
Miss Scruggs, you can stay. I'm not going to be saying fuck a lot this time. I owe you some apologies. One, for the way I dress. As a professional, I've neglected to come to these meetings appropriately dressed, perhaps not looking like your definition of a professional. I've worn T-shirts, I've worn hoodies, when such royalty as yourself deserves Sunday best. After all, I think the mayor said it best when he said we should treat this place with the same decorum as we would a church. Unfortunately, I don't have the access to the city's credit card that the chief does. I can't buy a $1,200 suit. And I ignored the fact that you are to be worshipped in this temple of government, not held accountable. I apologize. Number two, for the way I talk. I didn't realize that being way down here in southern Texas, it's entirely possible that word of the ratified 1791 Constitution that included the First Amendment might not have hit these parts yet, and that you're supposed to obey them.
oh my God.
I meant to bring a copy for each of you, but my scribe ran out of parchment paper, molted flight feathers, a quill, and an inkwell. I apologize. I apologize for the company I keep. Chief Blanchard tried to warn me long ago during a meeting that he recorded and hasn't yet released that Mr. Followwell was a criminal. I should be careful with whom I associate. Apparently criminals aren't allowed to have attorneys or something like that. But we'll find out soon enough. I should have listened. I didn't take the time to see things from a tyrant's perspective. I apologize. But all that changes now. Chief Blanchard was right. Anyone can Google stuff. Anyone can quote case law. We just didn't have the facts. We've just been wrong all this time when we spoke to you about gun rights, when we spoke to you about free speech, when we spoke to you about warrantless searches and faulty warrants based on no probable cause. When we demanded equal treatment of the law, we were just wrong. When we tried to educate you on the meaning of rubbish. By the way, just look in a mirror.
Oh,
After all, Chief-
you didn't. Oh my God, dude, I thought it was good and it just keeps getting better. If you need the definition of the meaning of rubbish, just all you have to do is look in the mirror. I swear to God, I'm going to remember that one. For those of you who may not be up to speed thinking he's actually apologizing, I pity your soul.
Chief Blanchard has been a cop for 24 years now. You all have been tyrants your whole life. Who are we to ignore this experience? Maybe you are the ones that are right all along. Last time I was here, Chief Blanchard gave me some advice, and I'm finally going to obey. It's important to respect and obey our police chiefs. They know better than anyone in this room what is good for us. They're smarter alone on their worst days than all of us are collectively on our best days. Otherwise, surely you wouldn't keep...
Sorry, even this guy is just like, I sense hostility in that voice. I just want to roll back just a little bit. Watch this guy. Watch this guy, chat.
Is good for us. They're smarter alone on their worst days than all of us are collectively on our best days. Otherwise, surely you wouldn't keep this guy employed as your police chief, right? So I'm taking the advice he gave me when he threatened to arrest me last time I was here for daring to read the words of the Supreme Court. When he said, "Stop talking and just sue me." Okay, Chief, here we go.
And
These are your lawsuits.
handing in their lawsuits.
Oh my God. Wow. Wow.
So, and then I think she's like a local reporter, and she's like, "Who was that that was just talking?"
Sorry, say it again.
Yeah. So then that lady gets up and she's like, "I didn't catch that guy's name. What was his name?" And they didn't say anything. So in the back, I said, "CJ Grisham." if you want to quote me. And then I handed her another copy of the lawsuit. I mean, that I had filed. So
that is absolute, dude. Honestly, I want to take my lawyer hat off for a second, and just as an American citizen, from the bottom of my heart, man, that was one of the. Truth be told, I've not watched this prior to this live. I've seen like bits and pieces of it in your lives because I like to research my guests before they come on. But I do these cold interviews for a reason, because I think it's more entertaining for the audience to do like a natural, rather than a pre-recorded, edited, cut it up. I'm a Whose Line Is It Anyway fan, so I like the raw, raunchy, the stumble in the middle of a sentence. That's to me, that's what makes real content, like good content. And again, taking my lawyer hat off, CJ, that was hands down one of the most beautiful things I have witnessed in a very long time. So thank you for that, for bestowing us with
so
such.
I can't.
I'm
really
not worthy.
I can't really take too much credit for that. I got the idea from a friend of mine I worked for him as a law clerk on my third year of law school, and he served a school board during their school board meeting. And that's what gave me now he didn't like apologize and do all the weird sort of stuff that I did. I mean, he was more serious than I am. I'm a combat veteran. I'm snarky. I've got a dark sense of humor, and I try to incorporate all of that into just about everything I do. And that includes, these kinds of sorry, not sorry kind of things. And so we served them with their lawsuit, and I went back 10 days later for that one case that I was there for. We were finally in trial. This was last week. So last week I was down there arguing a criminal mischief case. And a one-day thing turned into a 3-day trial. And at the end of it, I got my not guilty verdict from the jury. And then
nice.
The prosecutor comes up to me and he says, hey, first it was just all, hey, congratulations. It's been a pleasure working with you, and we had a really good relationship throughout the trial.
Yeah.
And he's like, just as a professional courtesy, I want you to know that they filed charges against you for.
Wait. Oh, yes. So that's what I've been waiting for. Because tell us about that. You're now being criminally charged. First of all, for what?
I'm being criminally charged for a Class A misdemeanor of hindering a governmental meeting or government proceeding by disorderly conduct. It's disorderly conduct to read case law.
And using cursey words.
And using cursey words, yeah. Using military language.
I'm sorry, what country is this in?
The country of Aransas Pass. I think they're a little too close to Mexico, and it's seeping across the border. But yeah, that's the issue. That's what I said, wait a minute, what am I being charged with? And he told me, and at first I was kind of like, wait a minute. And the county took the charges. I said, this is pure retaliation.
Yeah,
and
that's another lawsuit, by the way, another civil lawsuit. You beat it.
Yes. Well, now I'm filing on my behalf. And then they also charged my client with the same thing. So I was like, and the reason he knew about this was because they had approached him and wanted to have me served, wanted to have the warrant or the charges served during my trial. And he was like, that's
like to lower your morale, to kind of, that is so below the belt. Like, I know you're about to start a jury trial and you're focused and then you're in the zone, but hey, by the way, let me just completely crush you. You're being criminally prosecuted.
Yeah, and thankfully the prosecutor told him, I'm not going to let you do that. That's chicken shit.
And who was going to serve you? The chief or somebody else?
I think it was the chief.
Himself, like he's the one carrying the piece of paper.
I never saw him, so I'm not sure if it was someone in law enforcement was going to serve me, and I'm not sure exactly who it was.
Okay,
but it was the chief who was the complainant, so I assumed it was going to be him.
Yeah,
trying to get me back for what happened on March 4th.
But they were just sitting on a panel, picking their noses and eating their boogers. You're getting ready to do a jury trial. That's apples and you do not. That's way below the belt. What you did is epic, and they're just like, all right, next case. Fuck this lawsuit. I don't care. You are like in the mindset, let's go. I mean, that would be so. Again, I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I know what it's like to be ready to start a jury trial, and all of a sudden you're just like, you're completely thrown off. Like, what is this? Now your focus shifts completely to thank God it didn't happen. Wow.
And I had already beat them, like I said, 3 times. I beat them twice with the client that was down there, and then once with another client. They just can't win, and they don't know when to stop. They just keep making it worse and worse and worse, and that's what they did here. So I drove back home. I contacted my client. I let him know. I was like, hey, just so you know, thankfully they issued a summons for him as well instead of an actual warrant. So they did summons instead of warrants, which is very smart on their part, because I guarantee you, if I had to turn myself in on a warrant to be processed and all that, I was bringing cameras with me.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah.
So,
oh my God, it's unfortunate that you didn't get arrested. That would have been fucking content, man. You'd probably be on CNN the next day once you get out. I'm not joking. When was the last time? I'm trying to think. When was the last time a person was arrested for using swear words? Like since Lenny Bruce. That's the only example
in Texas, it happens almost every week.
Where?
Here, I take probably half of my clients are quote unquote disorderly conduct cases where a police officer has been sworn out by my client, and I've got to fight to get the charges dismissed.
Small town politics, insane. Basically.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, look, I have one of my former associates. His name is Ben. God love him. He you know what he does? He finds, like, I remember the Breonna Taylor protests here in Louisville, the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. George Floyd was in Missouri, I think. And Breonna Taylor is our local, it happened here in Louisville. So it was very close to home. She was killed in Louisville. And I remember seeing the protests, and people were getting arrested by the hordes, for peacefully protesting. And some of it, okay, let's be honest, not all of it was peaceful. Some of the arrests are probably merited, but some of the other ones were definitely not merited. And a bunch of lawyers, including Ben, have undertook to represent them. Now, again, also more closer to home, the trans laws, and it doesn't matter where you stand on the truth. There's not going to be a discussion about trans rights. But the point is, a bunch of people went to the Capitol and sat in the back and chanted, we protest whatever laws that you're passing. And they started arresting people in the Capitol. And God bless Ben. Again, he stepped up to the plate, and he started representing people for free. Like, he does these cases for free. So God bless him. So, this stuff happens even in our neck of the woods. But like, this is like BFE Texas is what I'm hearing from the chat and from you.
Yeah. And, again, the reason I wanted to bring up the timeline, keep in mind, these speeches happened January 16th and prior. So all of the profanity and all of the, the stuff that they're alleging happened January 16th and prior. But they didn't bother to charge me and my client with a crime until 10 days after we filed a $5 million federal lawsuit against them. Then they decide, oh, wait, actually, maybe there's a crime here, So if there was truly a crime, I promise you they would have arrested us. The chief has no problem arresting people on absolutely no probable cause, no reasonable suspicion, nothing. I mean, he has no problem throwing people in jail, levying false charges, doing warrantless searches. So if he was going to arrest us for the January 16th speech, he would have arrested us, but he waited until after we filed our lawsuit. I will say, no, I am not. I've only been doing this for a year. I don't know how long you've been doing this. I am not a better lawyer. I guarantee you. It's just easy to fight the First Amendment because the case law is up the butt. I mean, I'm not treading new ground here. It's
right.
Anyway.
And people in the chat, I just want to address something real quick. People are like, people have always been swearing at cops. Larry, where have you been? That's not what we're talking about.
No.
CJ, if you all been paying attention, has just said the words coming out of his mouth, and I'll TLDR because, for 40 minutes we've been talking about this, and this is the crux of the issue. This is why I wanted to talk to him. This is why I invited him on my show. And I think this is an issue of utmost importance in this country right now. You have a lawyer, okay? Doesn't matter. Lawyer, citizen, this part really doesn't matter. But the fact that he's a lawyer kind of elevates it to the next level. That's all. You know, went to law school, got a JD, became a member of the British Accredited Registry, according to our favorite sovereign citizens. You know, he's a bar-carrying member. Do you have a bar card, CJ? How many bar cards do you have? And how much money is that thing worth to you? You know,
I'm collecting them.
You're collecting. I have 7 myself. I don't know how many you've got.
I'm waiting for the downfall of society so I can pawn it.
Just start selling it off. Be like, hey, you want to become? Anybody want to become a lawyer? It's going once, going twice. Sold to the lady in the front. Oh, wait a minute. I remember you. You're that blonde from the hearing.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. This is okay. Serious face. This is a man who is also happens to be a lawyer, who is being criminally prosecuted for disorderly conduct, which in Texas carries up to 365 days in jail. Stop me at any point, CJ, if I'm stating something incorrectly, please.
You're correct so far.
For using bad language, cursey words. What are we in fucking kindergarten here? Using bad language and in a public forum that is open to the public to give commentary and he said it in front of the king of fucking France, I guess, and his princes or whatever, and princesses, as he calls them, royalty. I think it's very apt because that's how they're feeling themselves high and mighty. There's nothing worse, CJ, than to give a person who does not deserve power to give them power, because they will abuse it. They will take it too far, and they will destroy society as we know it in a local microcosm. So be it, but still, it bleeds over if it's not contained. What happens? It begins to permeate and bleed over. So all you have to do is contain it, stop it, crush it, destroy it, rip it apart, and then rebuild with a new, government. In this case, it is a mini little government. You got a mayor of what's the name of the city again? Sorry,
Aransas Pass.
Aransas Pass. I was like,
the
first time I saw that, I was like,
Pass.
did this guy misspell Arkansas? Because there's a letter missing in there. That's the first thing I thought.
Aransas Pass.
Aransas Pass. So Aransas Pass. There's clear corruption going on, and CJ's cleaning house. And you know what? By God, I think you're going to, honestly, because there's only when a tyrant, when a government official says, "I am the law," and screw all your written words, when they're threatening you with 1 year in jail, 365 days behind bars for speaking words that they do not like because they are curse words, which, by the way, anybody notice the members of the public sitting in the back chat? Let me ask chat for a minute. Did you all pay attention? The ones we could see on camera, did any of them were like, oh, dear me, dear Lord, how dare he? What is going on? This is the most shocking thing I've ever seen. They're all sitting there going, that's what I saw.
Yeah, you should apologize.
Well, in both videos, really. I mean, maybe they were a little uncomfortable in the first one because you're saying words that are like, is it, I love this phrase. I don't, you've been practicing law, I understand, a couple years now. Have you ever heard somebody ask you, they're like, oh, he's swearing. Is that legal? Can he do that? Like, is that the favorite question? Is that legal? It's like anything is legal until you get called out on it, honey. I mean, you can rob a liquor store. If you never get caught, that's also legal,
I always tell people you can do anything until someone tells you not to.
And that's
then they better have the law behind them.
Yeah. Right. That's the first rule of trial work. Excuse me. That's the first rule of trial work. My associate, my protege, Tyler, he always asks me like, Larry, can I do this? And I'm like, Tyler, what's the rule? He's like, I know. I'm like, no, well, that's the rule. Then don't ask me if you already know the answer. The answer is everything is permitted unless and until objected to. And if you're not objected to, and you may have just skirted by, don't do the prosecutor's job for them. So anyway, in a nutshell, a lawyer, CJ, is being threatened. No, not threatened anymore. Excuse me. Well, threatened with a year in jail, but being prosecuted, actively prosecuted for using bad language. And can you tell us, CJ, when did you actually get served with that summons? When did that happen?
So I still haven't been served with the summons, but I did go to the court and get the case number. And then I drove home. It's about a 4-hour drive from Aransas Pass to where I live in Central Texas. And as soon as I got home, the first thing I did was draft up my motion to suppress and set aside the information and dismiss for both me and my client. Drafted that up. I think it's about 9 pages. And went ahead and filed my appearance in my case and the appearance in Jason's case, and then the both of the motions to dismiss, as well as our affidavits about what happened. And by the way, not only did I get charged, they lied. They lied on that affidavit, because they were saying that not only they never mentioned anywhere in the affidavit that it was during public comments. They said that I was swearing during the meeting, which was hindering the meeting, and that I was pounding my fist angrily on the podium, and that Jason was pounding his fist angrily on the podium. And it's in my motion, I even linked to the YouTube video where the court can go itself and try to find where at any point I stuck my hand on the podium, much less pounded on it. And same thing with my client. So I still haven't officially been served with the summons, but I stepped up to the plate and filed my appearance and recognized these charges, because as soon as I get that dismissed, and I also requested an expeditious hearing to get this taken care of so that we can just knock it out and I can move on to the next civil lawsuit, which is going to be on my own behalf. They've just got to understand it. And there's one more thing, if I can, because I know a few people have brought it up in the chat, and that is
Please.
the fact that I've only been licensed for a year on my own. Prior to that, I was under a supervisory license, which, as you remember, if you're a third year, you can get a third-year practice certificate. And then in Texas, after you graduate law school, you can practice under a supervising attorney until you pass the bar. And then 30 days after you pass the bar, that supervising certificate expires and you have to be fully licensed. So I passed the bar the first go. Remember, I went to law school at 46 years old. And
good for you, non-traditional student, man. Respect.
Non-traditional student, went to law school, and I had a history behind me, and that history was as a Second Amendment activist. What sent me to law school was a false arrest and getting tased in the back by another police chief in San Antonio, and having my head cracked open on the concrete. I still deal with vertigo and with migraines and stuff because of it.
Oh,
and it was that incident that I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to law school. I'm tired of fighting these people in the streets. I'm going to fight them in the courts. I'm going to start holding them accountable. So because of my history as all of these arrests, my character and fitness board was 8 hours long. I sat in there at my character and fitness for 8 hours, bringing witnesses, explaining why was I arrested for this? Why was I arrested for that? Why was I removed from my Senate position during my first year of law school? Well, it's because I called a fellow law student a snot-nosed millennial snowflake with no life experience.
You're stating the truth that gets you gets you thrown
I was disrespectful to a fellow law student. So I just got removed from my Senate position, and then as soon as I got eligible, I was reelected to my Senate position in the SBA. So I've got a history, and what the bar wanted was not just to give me a license, because they're like, this guy's kind of a loose cannon. Let's see if he's as good at the law as he is raising hell. And they put me on a 1-year probationary license, which is actually unheard of, because everyone I talk to says, I've never heard less than 5 years. I thought it was
a Texas thing.
What's that?
I thought it was a Texas thing. I was like, I don't know. I've never heard of it.
No, I had to fight to get licensed. So I was also accused by a judge that I was going to sue while I was on my supervisory license, because he violated the law and literally told me that he didn't care what the law said. He wasn't giving my client his gun back, even though the law says the judge shall give it back in the particular case that I was in. And so when the judge told me and I explained my motion to restore his property, the judge is like, "Are you done?" And I was like, "Yes, Your Honor." And he says, "Well, I don't care. There's no way in hell I'm giving him his gun back." And I said, "Well, if you'll just sign the denial, I'll go ahead and get started on the appeal." Just like that. And he didn't like that. And so,
yeah, you do it behind their backs. You don't do it to their faces, but it's okay. You'll learn. You'll learn.
I'll learn. I learned that day, and that's why I'm on a That's why I'm on a probationary license, because they wanted to make sure that I understood the rules of the court, that I understood the rules of evidence, that, you know, I wasn't just some guy that's going to go off half-cocked in a courtroom and screw my clients over
Sure.
and just create havoc in the court system, which the only havoc I've created is every case that I've taken except one, and that's in a municipal court, and you know how those are. Every case but one, I've either won or gotten dismissed. And so it's, and I
You
know
need
I've
to
only been
start
doing this
taking
for
on
years.
harder cases, CJ. Like I'm being serious. I know. It's like, man, this guy's making me look bad. You know how many cases I had clients plead guilty to? That's because they were fucking guilty as shit. And I was trying to keep them out of prison. That's why, you know.
It's easy when you
and I
take innocent
succeeded.
clients.
Like, but like no. But all jokes aside, you know, lawyers, you know, and we know, and if you don't know, you will know. You know, there's a different definition to the word victory. Victory does not necessarily equal sign dismissed. Sometimes, you know, clients looking at 5 years in prison, 10 years in prison, 20 years in prison, you get them. I don't know if you guys have that diversion or like deferred prosecution. Yes. Oh, it's not a dismissal. It might be a dismissal later, or maybe you get them an amended charge to a misdemeanor. They still plead guilty, but you cannot ask for a better result given the facts, because if you go to trial, they're going to prison for 20 years. You know, and getting them a misdemeanor, and they're not a convicted felon. But anyway, I digress. Good for you, but start taking on harder cases, CJ. I'm serious.
Well, and I've got
you got potential.
Yeah,
but you're still early in your career.
I've done several felonies. I mean, I had organized criminal activity felonies that I've gotten dismissed.
I'm just giving you shit. You don't have to
explain. Well, no. But what I want to tell you, because you just mentioned something that's really important. Please. One of my wins. Oh, I lost you. Is that me or you?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay. It's probably me then. But my client was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It's a self-defense case. And that's what I do is First and Second Amendment cases. There's no way. We've got video and everything. But this is a prosecutor who just will not, he just can't let it go. You know, he can't just say, okay, I'm going to dismiss it. So he kept offering these pleas, and I kept saying, you know, we kept denying it. But my client, he's facing, like you said, 2 to 20. And it's stressful for him. And so he brought him up a 1 year, and this guy's never been in trouble. He's a 30-year retired command sergeant major, Army guy, never been in trouble in his life. Now he's faced with this felony. It's driving him nuts. He's stressed out beyond belief because, oh my gosh, I've got a felony against me.
Sure.
And I was able to work, you know, I was like, if you're going to offer a plea deal, offer something I can present to him that I'm not going to like really talk him out of. Because he wants a plea deal, but I'm telling you he's innocent. And there's no way if we went to court, they were going to win this case. But my client he wanted the plea deal, and I have to take the plea deal. That's still a win for me because it's a deferred. I got him a deferred. He's not going to get in trouble. The case is going to go away to this misdemeanor that he pled to. But I don't think people understand that when you're facing up to 20 years in jail and the uncertainty of a jury, the uncertainty of the system, you know, it really comes down to who's got the better motion practice on one side of the table or the other. You know, who can argue better, who knows how to work a jury, who knows how to make the proper objections. And as an investigator, that's what I did in the Army, by the way. I was special intelligence or counterintelligence special agent. So I worked in the criminal justice field at the national level, doing terrorism, sedition, treason, espionage, that kind of stuff. And so I know how the courts work. So it's not like I'm coming into the legal field as a complete newbie. But so it's very difficult. I remember when I got charged, you know, when the chief tased me in the back and I'm sitting there getting magistrated out of jail after like 15 hours, and the judge is reading my list of charges because I had no idea what I was being arrested for. They refused to tell me. And I don't even remember it because I had been knocked out. I had a concussion. And so she's magistrating me, and she's going through the list of misdemeanors, and then she says, felony assault on a peace officer, 15,000. And I'm like, whoa. I said, I apologize, Your Honor. I do not mean to interrupt you, but can you repeat that again? Because I thought, okay, you've got the wrong person here. I never touched this cop. He's the one that tased me. I was backing up. I had my hands up the whole time. I was backing away. And I said, what did I do? Fall on his foot? And she's like, well, I don't have whatever happened. And of course, this all got dismissed because we had video. But, you know, I'm charged with a felony. I had no gun rights. When you're charged with a felony, I can't be around firearms. I lost my license, my gun license. all that stuff. And so it's stressful. And until
Sure.
you've been in that situation, no matter how innocent you are, to criticize people for taking a plea deal, especially when it's a simple, easy plea deal. The one today that I had, it was a unlawful carry that I got PTI on, which is pretrial intervention for those that don't know out there. To get it dismissed, all he had to do was go to an anger management and gun safety class, and it was going to get dismissed. Now, should he have done that? No, because I have video that he was perfectly able to do that. But he didn't want to fight that in court because you just don't know. And when, hell, take a 4-hour online anger management class, I can do that. Sure, if that's going to get my case dismissed, I don't even have to worry about a jury. So, as you know, the law is a weird and fickle thing.
Yes,
So-
it is. Yes, it is. And thanks for sharing your story, man. I mean, again, to me, that's the hallmark of a completely fucked system when you file a lawsuit, you talk about it publicly, you use a few swear words, and now you're threatened with a year in jail. I mean, if they don't dismiss it outright, take it to trial. I mean, don't represent yourself. I know you made that joke about, C. John Grisham has agreed to undertake the case of CJ Grisham. Do you remember that video? And
Yeah,
it's
CJ
clever.
Grisham
it's
is
funny.
representing Christopher John Grisham.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So it's like you saying, I'm representing myself. There's a reason they say, and I'm not trying to be a dick here. I'm just being honest and sincere. He or she who represents him or herself has a fool for a client. And it's not because I don't think you're smart. It's not because I don't think you're capable. It's not because I don't think you're going to win. It's because you have personal, emotional investment, involvement. Right. You are vested personally in the outcome of the case. And it does something to the brain to where you don't think clearly about what is happening. And you may have an offer on the table and you'll be, any normal lawyer worth their salt will be like, client, you need to take this offer or whatever. Not in your case, but if you're representing yourself, you'll be like, no, fuck that. I'm going to go to trial and see you in court. And then you end up going to prison for 10 years, not in your case, but like in a worse scenario than yours. So,
and my strategy in this case is I'm going to file my motions. I'm going to argue my motions pre-trial.
That's fair.
If things don't happen the way and we're going to have to go to trial, then I already have an attorney that's going to take these cases over so that I am not standing up there presenting my own evidence and questioning myself on the stand or presenting, these rambling things. Because you're right. When you get up there and you're the one on the wire, what do you say to yourself? And there's that funny skit. I don't remember who did it, but where the guy's representing himself and he stands up and he asks a question. Then he runs over to the witness seat and he answers it. And then he runs back to the well and he asks himself another question. Then he runs back to the witness seat. And I kind of want to do that one day, but
no, you don't. Not as maybe as a sovereign citizen, or maybe as a civilian citizen, maybe as a citizen, not as a lawyer.
No, I'm just joking.
But I know what you're saying. It would be hilarious. And my friend, you got it, man. You got it going on. I just want to go through these super chats real quick before I let you bounce. Bessie Knox, thank you so much for being a member for 14. Has it been 14 months already, Bessie? I remember when you joined. My goodness. Video Witnesses says CJ is a great dude. I don't know. I'm not sure about that yet. I marched at Elmo Spark. I'm joking, of course. CJ, I'll be starting the sidewalk pressure washing protests soon. So I think that's a personal message. I don't know what it is in reference to, but
I've duped a lot of people in your chat.
You duped them? How did you dupe them?
They think I'm a good guy.
Pickle Order says, Larry, you're being sniped. I don't know what that means, but I highlighted it because I thought it was funny. Maybe because CJ is cross-streaming this. And by the way, where are my manners? Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe not just to my channel, if you haven't already. What is wrong with you? It's free. Just hit the button. Do the same thing for this guy. CJ, you can literally, I made it a clickable link in the title. You can literally click on Texas 2A Attorney and just hit subscribe. You have 2 clicks. You're 2 clicks away. Go ahead. I'll wait.
And Larry, while you're waiting, I'm going to inflate your ego a little bit here. I've known about you when I got licensed. The first thing I started doing was looking on YouTube to find, okay, who are the lawyers I can learn from? because I'm opening my own firm. I'm jumping into the fire, and I am a fire hose or a fire hydrant of just information that I can
No,
take
I
in
like
and I'm
fire
trying to
hose
learn.
better.
Yeah. So your videos is one of those, because I have watched almost every single one of your videos, because process and procedure and presenting of evidence and challenging evidence, I've gotten a lot of techniques from watching your videos. And I don't take DUI cases, but a lot of the stuff I have taken two. It's not something I really like to do, but just learning how to challenge the state's evidence and question, what it is that's being presented in ways I hadn't thought of. So I've actually known about you before you reached out, and have used your videos to help me become a better attorney. I've been to trial 3 times. The first 2, I showed up for voir dire, and the state dismissed the case that moment. And then the third one was just last week, when I finally got to do a jury trial. And I'm literally thinking in my head, I went through and watched a few of your videos the night before, because I'm like, okay, what if this happens? What would DUI Guy do? And so just kind of inflate your head a little bit. I mean, a little fanboy stuff there.
I'll take it, man. That's really cool. I'm surprised you were able to learn anything. But I'm joking, of course. That's cool. Again, I if I could go back in time and tell you, over the last 10 years, there are about 6 or 7 emails that I'll never forget. We always have, every year you get one. There's always that one email that you get and you're like, wow. And like in the last 5-6 years that I've been doing this on YouTube, I will just say this, since you brought it up. About once a year, I get an email, and it's a very, very long email, and I read every single word, and I save them, and I have my own special box, and it's my own personal box. I'll never share them with anyone. It's people saying things like, Larry, I was, I don't know, at the end of my rope, or I had no guidance, I had no this, da da da. And then I ran across your channel, and you made me want to become a lawyer at 60 years old, at 20 years old, or whatever, it doesn't matter the age. And then they go in, like, spilling their guts about their life story, telling me about how watching my videos, which is, again, to me, I just put this stuff out. I never think how it affects another person. And they go like, you do such a this, and this. Again, I won't toot my own horn too much, because it's about them. And they're like, you made me want to become an attorney. You changed my life, Larry. You made me want to become a lawyer. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I even have one that I still talk to this day. Every 6 months or so, I'll check in with him. He actually never went to college. He just graduated high school, and he's like in his 40s or something. And he's like, Larry, I'm going to finish a 4-year degree, and I'm going to go to law school. So at the time, he was 7 years away. Now he's about 5.5 years away, I think. Maybe 5 to go, if he's still. And I have zero doubt and 100% belief that they are going to get there. And in 2029, 2030, I'm going to get a text one day or an email, be like, guess who joined the bar, motherfucker? And I'll be like, no way. No freaking way. And it's like, you did that. And I'll be like, I'll take the cred. If you're giving it to me, I will take it. And it's those little stories. Like I said, I get one of those like once a year, about approximately once every 12 months. And I'm like, I'm just so happy that we're able to change lives. And now you're in the same boat, TJ. You got a YouTube channel. You're on the hook to educate people on the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth, Fifth, whatever you choose. We have a duty to the public more than just, in court. We owe a fiduciary duty to the public to educate them on the truth and the law without giving out legal advice. Sometimes people will ask you, if you haven't done it, have a caption saying, this is not legal advice, blah, 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 just to get that out of the way if anyone ever decides to sue you one day. But it's beautiful. And I'm glad that you, I'll end on this. I'm happy that you were able to take positive things from my real life's work, because that's what it was. The trials that you watch, the trials that the public watches, that are real life trials with real life people, real life consequences, or as our soft sits would say, real life actors in kangaroo courts with made up charges against no victims.
And for those people that think, when I retired from the military in 2015, I didn't have a college education. When I decided to go to law school, I had to start from. I spent 7 straight years getting my. In 7 years, I busted my ass to get my associate's degree in pre-law, my history degree in history, my bachelor's degree in history, my master's at law, and then my Juris Doctorate. And because I wanted to be the best attorney I could be. I knew it was going to be on my own, and I wanted to get as much education as I could. So if I can do it at 45 years old, anybody can do it. I mean, and I graduated number 10 in my class out of 11. So no, I'm just kidding. But I did graduate number 10 in my class. Just to kind of, because I felt like I had to show these young kids up, here's this old guy with white hair, and who is he with all these 20 somethings out there, and all my peers were, I mean, they could have been my kids. My oldest daughter is 27 years old or 28 years old, I think.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So,
she could have been in law school.
Yeah.
Or already a lawyer, excuse me, like 27. Yeah, she could have been 27. I was in my 3rd year of practice. Can you believe that? I'm a K through JD, kindergarten, 1st through 12, freshman through senior, JD at 25. Boom. I just turned 25. I graduated. I walked. So my birthday is in May. I'm a May baby. So I'm right on the cusp. If I had been born like a few days later, I would have probably been it would have been a year later. But May 8th, I walked on stage. So it's like my birthday, and then I'm getting my JD like that Saturday. So
I got my JD 30 years to the day after I graduated high school.
Wow. That's badass.
Yeah. 30 years.
30.
92 is when I graduated. 2022 is when I graduated.
Exactly. That's Jim Dara. Oh, shoot. Hold on 1 second.
All right, I'll entertain the people here. So Google says, "Amen, Prince." Oh, no, I was kidding.
CJ needs to borrow my sign. # buckle up. # it's the law. Jim Dara. Thank you, babe. I muted myself because I didn't want to like scream at you guys. So I got this from Jim. It's a long story, CJ. It's a really long story. I won't bug you with it, but if you're interested, it's in my. I need to put this behind me. I need to tape it or nail it or whatever. But anyway, # buckle up. # it's the law is my new, I don't know, brand message. It started with a former judge who called my office threatening me with a bar complaint. And he said, and they're like, can I, my answering service, she was very cordial. She's like, can I help you with anything? And he's like, no, just tell Mr. Foreman to buckle up because I'm going to file a bar complaint against him. And he just hangs up. And now # buckle up has become our mantra. But anyway, thank you for that, Jim.
I need to find a place for my pop figure I had made.
Did somebody send that to you?
I had it made.
Oh,
someone showed me the link.
I was excited.
It's even got my cats in it. So,
because like my fans will send me some stuff. There's this guy from Paducah. One day I come to the office and there's like a stack of waters, and I'm like, someone trying to poison me? Like, why are there waters? Like a stack of, and it was just a loyal fan was like, here you go, stay hydrated. It's hot out. It was like July.
Nice.
Margaret Tier says, instead of saying fuck, we say go forth and multiply. In short, jerky movements, polite but same meaning.
Nice.
Also, this is unrelated, but I just want to notate that I did see this message. Jeremy heard from the state's attorney. This is Jeremy and George. God love them. What the hails. His case will be heard in another county. What? We need to talk about that, D. Send me an email. This is about the Florida case? It's going to be the state's attorney. I'm sorry. This is my lawyer brain is tingling, but like it seems a little premature. There's no way we have a ruling. It's been a month. It's not even been a full month yet. They filed it on March 1st. It's March 26th. We haven't even moved to the next month. But okay, maybe somebody in the chat can clarify. The federal case, but the federal case doesn't have counties. It's a federal case. I don't know. Okay, fine, whatever. I'll figure it out. Felipe Sal, thank you so much for joining on as a member as well. Thank you. Don't forget to, again, to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and of course, subscribe to CJ, subscribe to me, and join on as a member if you'd like. It's 99 cents on this channel. It goes up from there, but you're not obligated. It's whatever. And of course, super chat if you have questions. But we're coming up to the end of the show. I'll just highlight this last one, even though it's not a super chat. I found it hilarious. You probably won't understand this, CJ, but DUI guy, find the imposter. It's an inside joke, CJ. I'm sorry. I think CJ is the imposter. Just roll with it, CJ. It's nothing. Trust me.
I was a counterintelligence agent. I recruited spies for a living. So you never know.
Why do I have only subscribers mode on? So that I get more subscribers, you moron. That's why you have subscriber mode on. So if you want to chat, you have to hit the subscribe button. That's why why else would you have subscriber mode? That is the dumbest question anyone has ever asked me. I liked you, Angry Vat. I still like you. But come on, may I get with the program? Why do you have subscribers mode on? So I get more subscribers. Duh. Anyway, all right. Change of subs says firm audits, excuse me. Please mention Matt Reardon, aka Lafayette County Audit. Why does that name sound so familiar? Somebody emailed me about this.
Diesel for We the People News. I don't like attorneys either, so you're in good company.
You're giving me hope. That's good. No, but seriously, Matt Reardon, aka Lafayette. I don't know. Somebody messaged me about him. I don't know if I just subscribed just to unsubscribe again to Tilapia. Yeah.
I exist just for
I love
trolls.
my
I don't know
chat
about
so
you.
much.
I don't know about you, but I actually love my trolls more than my supporters.
I know, they're the best. They're the ones that
Yeah.
like, it's just a gift that keeps on giving. Are you kidding me? Please continue. Please, I love you guys. See, it's like I will highlight these comments all day long because here's the thing. This is what I've learned. First of all, you got to have a really thick skin in this game, CJ. I think I don't need to tell you that twice. But like, if you let these people get to you, they will eat you alive because they realize they have power over you. I embrace them. And imagine there's that one scene. I can't remember what movie it's from. You might be able to refresh my memory. Maybe chat can help. There's a scene, and maybe it was from my head. Somebody was telling a story, but I think it's a movie. There's a guy coming up with a knife. It's like in New York, and he's like telling this guy like, "Hey, give me your wallet. Give me all your money." And the gentleman is like a professor of ethics or something. He's like a professor. And he's like, he sees that this man, it's cold out. He's hungry. And he's like, let me go buy you a meal. And the dude with the knife, he's got a knife at this guy. He's about to stab him, in exchange for all the money he's got. And he's just frozen. He's like, what? And it's done so realistically, and I believe it's based on a true story. Maybe Chad can help me out. And he takes him into a restaurant. He gives him his coat. Because he sees that he's cold. He feeds him. He's like, tell me your life story. Like, help me out. Like, what happened to you? Tell me what's wrong. And he listens to this young man's story. And he's young. He's like in his 20s. And it's the dichotomy. And at the end, they become friends. I believe he even comes to like the professor's lecture one time to just kind of sit in on it or whatever. And, it could have gone way worse. It could have been like, oh my God, here you go, here, maybe get stabbed or something in exchange for a few dollars. But it's when you hug your haters, they don't know what to do. They're completely helpless because they're trying to get a reaction out of you. They're trying to trigger you. They're trying to get something like, DUI guy, you're an asshole. You're a dick. And I'm like, and what else? Tell me more. What else am I? I want to hear this. I love this. And then they're like, and then they run out of steam. And we actually, very funny thing, on this channel, live, on the air, I have previous videos where we have flipped. Like there would be somebody in the chat and they're like angry. They're like, you're an idiot and you're a joke and everything you're saying is a lie. And I'll just pause, especially if I have time, if it's just like one of these lives, and I'll be like, so tell me what's ailing you? Why do you think this way? And I'll wait and I'm like, okay, well, I disagree with your statement. Oh, you hate lawyers. It was like this one, I hate lawyers. I absolutely hate lawyers. I'm like, why do you hate lawyers? And the chat, it became like a wonderful open discussion about like the legal system. And the live just kind of traversed into, anyway, I'll stop ranting because I'm literally going way off topic here. But the only reason I'm pointing this out is because chat has been like very, very angry today. Some, not all of them. Like, of course, not all of them. And I love a house divided, especially since what happened with for public safety, because I called his ass out and he didn't like it, and he's still bitter about it. Still talks about me every once in a while, but I don't care. It's like somebody asked me, he's like, DUI guy, you owe him. And I'm like, a boot does not care about ants it steps on. I'm sorry. So sorry that I'm not sorry. It's kind of like what you did with the council.
When I was a first sergeant, I'm the head guy in the company, but I always told my privates, I don't have all the answers. You might know something that I don't know. You've got a different life experience than I do. And I always told my soldiers, if you think there's a better way to do it, bring it up to me. Let me know I'm doing it wrong in your view. Obviously, you're not going to curse out your first sergeant, but respectfully tell me, soldier, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And I would literally always, there are times where I'd be like, you know what? I think you're right. Let's try that. And I'm the same way in real life. You can attack me all day long. And, if I'm doing something wrong, I want to be called out. You know why?
Yes.
Because I'm calling out government officials. I'm calling everyone else out. I want to be held accountable because that's how I'm going to learn and grow and become a better person. So I like my trolls because most of the time they're idiots, but I still like them.
Yeah.
Especially when they're making fun of, they're calling you stupid, but they can't say "your" correctly. Made him choke.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. It's no secret that I donated money to. I actually donated both. It was really funny because I was in both chats at the same time. I was in Chris's chat and what's his name, Michael, I think, Kaiser. I was donating to both of them at the same time, and people are like, DUI guy is a switch hitter. And I had to look that term up. I'm like, what is a switch hitter? I'm like, it's a baseball term. It's also a gay term, but that's not what they're talking about. They were talking about like DUI guys playing both sides because I don't care. To me, this is what I've learned in the First Amendment auditor. It's been a long day. The First Amendment auditor industry, if you want to call it that. And you will see this. I want to call this out live. You may learn something because I learned this very recently. They don't really care about the truth. That is one of the scariest realizations that I have come to in the First Amendment. Clip this because this is one of the most important things I will ever say on this channel about this topic. Because I've been involved in the 1A community for 6 years now. Ever since I started, February of 2018. First Amendment auditor community, not all of them, but the bulk, unfortunately, the underground, they don't care about the truth. They care about what side are you on. And anytime you talk poorly about them, oh, you're a bootlicker. You're side with the trolls. It's like, no, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I'm trying to learn something. I'm trying to investigate something. And they're like, well, if you're either with us or you're against us. And that is the worst policy you can possibly have as a human being on this planet. Because then you're not seeking truth. You're just like, I'm sitting in my camp. And actually, they're no better than the rotten, corrupt government that they're hating on because they're not listening to the facts. They're like, well, the government is involved and I hate the government, therefore the government is wrong. But that's not always true. Sometimes the government is actually in the right. Look at Chili DeCastro. He's sitting for 6 months in jail. Now, I have no feelings against Chili. I came on his channel one time and he did a fundraiser for one of my clients one time. And now people are like, Larry, why are you friends with Chili? I just appeared on his channel and he lended his support. That's all that happened. People are already assuming relationships forming. I don't know the case. I may cover it. I may not. I don't know. I have no animosity against the guy. I actually feel bad that he went to jail, that he called a cop a pig, I understand, like in open court while the judge is right there and she heard him. I mean, come on,
And
man.
there's actually a case about that where a defendant called one of the alleged victims like a motherfucking cunt or something like that. And the judge held him in contempt, and he appealed all that, and they actually reversed it because it was protected speech because he wasn't addressing it at the court. He just said it in court. And because he just said it in court as a matter of opinion, I've actually got that in my brief, that particular case, because it's important that they understand, even in a court of law, there's a case where a profanity was used. The judge took offense to it, and it was overturned because it wasn't directed at the judge.
Oh, wow.
I'll find that and email it to you.
Yeah, I want to see that. By the way, if you want this mug chat, the link is in the description. It says buckle up. On the front, you can get it in multiple colors. I forgot to mention this. And it's got DUI Guy, Raw Law, Unfiltered on the back. There we go. Camera finally caught it. So feel free if you want it. It's like a few bucks. I don't know. I didn't check.
If you want my mug, come and fight me for it. So
mine is easier to get. You heard it here first, folks. That's a really nice mug. Is that an AK-47?
It's an AR-15. This is. I had a comic book friend artist redo Lady Justice for me, and I wanted her to be a badass superhero, not this stoic person in a toga. And this is what he came up with for me. And I said, I don't want a sword. I want an AR-15 in her hands. And so this is my Lady Justice.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Last but not least, we have a couple more. Brent McCain says both of you rock, so we'll take it. Thank you very much,
Brent's
Brent.
A good dude. He works out in the Gulf on oil rigs. He's a medic.
Nice. As a medic?
Yep.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That must be a tough job because I'm sure he has seen his fair share of severed limbs and shit. Seriously, oil rigs, man. There's no joke. And Terry Boyens, thank you very much for joining on as a member. Again, don't forget to subscribe to this guy because
and that guy.
Obviously, the other way. Thank you. Because he's the real deal. Like, I find it ironic. Again, this is coming back. I'll just say one last thing about this, and I never want to talk about him again. When I had For Public Safety on my channel, I was ready for him to tell the story of what happened. And the more, because this was all happening live, he calls it like, what do you call it? Like a surprise interview or shotgun interview or whatever that's called, bombshell interview. I don't remember. It was supposed to be, tell me about the corruption in Hardin, Meade County. Like, tell me about what you've been dealing with. And I'm just like, wait, hold on a second. Something is not adding up. Like he's claiming, basically, I'll tell you this, CJ, he's claiming that the government falsified charges against him and an imposter went to court for him and paid fines for him and went to probation for him, which I was like, with friends like these, who needs enemies? And I'm still confused about it, and they were afraid when I had you on. I saw Angry Vet in the chat before you came on, literally 30 seconds into our video. Angry Vet was in the chat and he's like, are you going to do CJ like you did For Public Safety? And I'm like, I didn't do anything to public safety. I just was digging for the truth. And if it makes them uncomfortable, first of all, good. And second of all, the truth should not make anyone uncomfortable. So I don't know. I said my piece. Hopefully I'll never have to talk about this topic again because people have been bugging me about it. I did the interview like 8 days ago and people are still talking about it. And I'm not interested. I've moved on. Clearly. And the only reason I bring this up is because we got the entire 1A community in the chat. So, and this is going to be clipped and sent back to him. And please do, because I have other things to talk about. I'm much more interested in matters of public concern than one issue with one individual in one county or whatever. So anyway, any last words, CJ? I want to open up the floor to you. This has turned into like more of a monologue, and I apologize.
No, yeah, someone had asked how many cases I've had in court. So in the past year, keep in mind, I've only been licensed since May of last year. So not even a year yet. I've done, if you include getting people unblocked on Facebook by sending demand letters and getting people paid for getting blocked on Facebook without court, I've probably done about 65 or 70 cases. Of actual criminal cases, I've maybe had 36, about 36 to 40. And of those, I've only gone to court, actually, like to trial on 3 of those, and I've won all 3 of them so far. So far, I'm batting 1,000. I've had 1 loss I'm sorry, 4. I had 4 cases in court. One of those I lost, but it's a First Amendment issue. It was a municipal court, and he just wasn't having it because, by golly, my client cursed at his officers. And even though the case law was on point about that, it didn't matter. I lost that case. But other than that, I guess I'm 75% actual trial right now.
Good for you, man. That is incredible, and I can't wait to see what you keep doing and what you do next. I'm very excited to see where your firm takes you, because now, you know, I don't know if you know, I'm trying to sell my practice.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not buying.
Well, you need about 15 mil to buy. You got to pay to play.
Gotcha.
Unless you want to become like, you know, Foreman and Grisham or whatever, then you can pay royalties. I don't know. I'm still working on that part of it, but it's only been public for a couple of weeks. 2-3 weeks ago, I made the decision. And anyway, it's gonna be fun, because that's exactly what I want to do. What you're doing, what you're starting out doing, which I think is brilliant, is that's where I'm headed. I want to have a jet that allows me to travel anytime, anywhere, at any point, with a pilot that's on payroll, and go from point A to point B wherever I'm needed. Sometimes it's going to be a trial. I don't know if you know, I'm sure was a Second Amendment aficionado. Alec Baldwin is going to trial July 9th in New Mexico.
Remember,
I'm going to be
guns
there.
don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people.
So that's going to be fun. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be
Wait, can you hear
exciting.
me?
Yeah, you said,
I thought
remember,
I had my thing muted.
guns don't kill people, or guns kill people, and Alec Baldwin kills people. Is that what you said?
Yeah, guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people.
Oh, yes. Anyway,
All
any
right.
parting words, CJ, before I let you go?
No, I just appreciate this opportunity. I think, for me, I do this because in 1994, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. I don't care if you like the military or not. I don't care if you think that what I was fighting for was a corporation or oil or whatever. I don't care what other people think. My oath meant something to me. Throughout my entire career, I was the only platoon sergeant and first sergeant that during training days would include constitutional training in addition to all the mandatory training. That was something that I did because I wanted to make sure my soldiers understood the Constitution and what that oath means. And that oath never died. And so I'm doing what I'm doing now because people's rights are being violated and other people have forgotten the oath they've taken. And that's what I care about. That's my only purpose to be an attorney, is to defend the innocent. I don't even practice. I don't do criminal defense. I do innocent defense. And
I like that.
I do this. I'm an injured combat veteran. I've got disability and retirement. I don't need to make money. I'm fine. And so I can take cases at a lower rate than most attorneys can. And I've taken a lot of cases for free if I can do it, if it's, local and nearby, but I don't want to go poor doing this. So that's all I care about. All I care about is justice. And all I care about is that we protect that document that so many people have died for, in its creation and in its preservation.
Because if not us, then who?
Exactly. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Boom. Yeah. Martin Luther King. So anyway, thank you, kind sir. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
sir. I'm sure I want to, as soon as you have like a big development, like the case going to trial or whatever, please let me know. I'd love to have you back on to talk about it. I think we had like 1,000 people at one point from both channels. CJ has been simulcast streaming this on his Facebook and on his YouTube. So It's been great. We had a huge audience here, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll be seeing you.
Take care of yourself.
Well, folks, that was C.J. Grisham, not to be confused with the author, John Grisham, of the famous books, you know, The Firm and The Client and all these other ones. If you haven't seen the movie, by the way, The Firm with, what's his name? What was the main actor in that one? I forget. But wait a minute. Tom Cruise, right? I think it was Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, yeah. Thanks, chat. What a day. We learned about CJ. We learned about what he does. We learned about his going potentially to jail for cursey words. I swear, I can't get this out of my head. Every time I hear that, I think Lenny Bruce. You know, God bless him. He was a pioneer. He paved the Freudian slip there. He paved the road of the word. The bird is the word, you know? He allowed comedians and the general public to use swear words. George Carlin, the famous 7 words you can't say on television. If you don't like curse words, cover your ears. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. And tits can actually be used in some varieties, you know, as long as you're not talking about the female breast, because apparently that is too soft, pun intended, for some people. People are too soft for that. I never understood it. You know, I'm a Russian born in the communist regime in 1988. It was a very cold, rainy morning, 2:55 a.m. on May 5th, 1988. For those of you who are Jewish, that was actually Lag BaOmer, which is the festival of fire. That's why I'm so fiery, I've been told. It's because I was born on Lag BaOmer. I'm also an Earth Dragon, this is the year of the dragon. This is the 4th time in my lifetime that I get to celebrate it. First time I was 0, then 12, 24, and now 36. I'll be 36 in a month. I'm telling you all, it's like I was born for this shit. From Russia to Israel to America, and I'm here. CJ and I are doing better jobs. Immigrants, you know, like not CJ. CJ's not an immigrant. I'm an immigrant. Why are immigrants doing a better job at protecting people's rights than the people who are born and raised here? I just don't understand. Why do we love this country more than the people who were born here and raised here for 7, 8, 9, 12 generations? Why, as a first generation American, I am more bleeding heart for this country than people who have lived here for hundreds of years? I don't understand. I just don't understand. But it is what it is. That's the world we live in. So injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So, folks, buckle up, because it's the law. I'm going to do a couple more lives this week. What do we have coming up? How to run a successful business, how to run a successful law firm. I want to do, this is just one I randomly came up with. I was like, man, I run like 5 different businesses every day. Why not share my successes with the world? So for those of you who want to join, that's probably going to be, I don't know, tomorrow, maybe Thursday. And then hopefully on Friday, my girlfriend and I are going to talk about our first UFC fight. Then I'm probably going to do a couple more interviews at some point, depending on what comes my way. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of rights being eroded all over the country, and that's very, very sad. And it's very important to protect people's rights. So I might have a couple more interviews. Maybe Turtle Boy will be back on if he's got some updates. And then next Friday, we're flying down. Chandler and I, we're flying down to Tampa. We're going to go up to Levy County, Florida. We're going to be in Levy County on April 5th. We're also going to go to a concert. ZZ Top apparently is playing in Tallahassee. So we're going to be up in Tallahassee on Friday. And then hopefully do a couple interviews Saturday, maybe with Jeremy's lawyers, Randy and Doreen, if they're up for it. Maybe Mark Feather. Mark Feather. We're going to try and do that. And then Sunday, April 6th, that's the big one, folks. That's the big one. Mark your calendars. Sunday, April 7th. I think I said 6th. Sunday, April 7th. That's the biggie. Sunday, April 7th. That's the biggie. We are going to be on What the Hales channel. We are going to be on What the Hales live together in the same room. Like, I will physically be able to touch Jeremy. Not like that. Not like that. Not like that. But it's going to be cool, you know, to be like in the same room, meet his team probably, because I know they're all over there. And it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Hatsune Vimiku, by the way, I read your message. I just want to say, I know this is completely off topic, but you would think like such a long message. I was captivated, bro, or ma'am, whoever you are. This is a different world that you live in. I read your message. I replied to it, and I see that you replied as well. Just now I checked. So thank you for being you, Hatsune Vimiku. Thank you for being you. You guys are awesome. I had so much fun. So many First Amendment auditors and their posse in the chat. Hopefully I cleared some questions up. I know that you guys are, antsy and anxious about what's been happening in my world, etc. So hopefully I was able to teach you something. And anyway, I love you all. I really appreciate everything you're doing. And I will see you either tomorrow or Thursday and Friday for sure. So this week, lots more streams coming. Tomorrow, I'm a little bit busy, but definitely Thursday and Friday. I'm still trying to get that. What was that one? I'm still trying to get on Megyn Kelly or any of those like Republican, Dr. Tuttle, Megyn Kelly, who else? Tucker Carlson, any of them. If any of them want to have me, I'd love to talk about What the Hales and how I got a threat of a bar complaint from a former judge. Like, come on, man, that's just disgusting. So we can talk about that. And I would also very much love and enjoy to see more, people on my channel as we continue to grow. We're probably, if things stay constant, remain constant, excuse me, we should hit 400,000 subscribers probably by Monday, which is insane. It'll literally be like April Fools, 400K. You're welcome. It'll be pretty funny, pretty cool. And we're also approaching 250 million views across the channel. Let me say that again. 250 million views on the channel across all videos, which we have about 1,300 worth, including shorts. Power to the people. This is what I'm all about. People say like, DUI guy, you have all these dreams and you want to have a jet, you selfish prick. I want to have a jet too. Well, you don't see me riding in one. And I'm like, you forget the purpose. The purpose is for me to be available to help the people. That's the purpose. To report the facts back to you all. To help people in need. That's what I want to do. That's what I have been doing. And that's what I will continue to do, probably to the day I croak over and die of old age at the ripe age of 975 years old. A man's got a dream. A man's got a dream. Yes, you heard that right. That was not a slip. 975 years old. I think it's possible. I'll probably be half AI, but that's another story. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. I can't wait to continue doing this stuff, and I love every single one of you. Peace and love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.